She was a beautiful blonde in high school with a beautiful smile, beautiful blue eyes that everyone wanted to be. He was about the same, only not in her grade level at all, 5 years older. They met as she was 17, still in high school. He was 23. Yeah, he was 23 in college to be an accountant. From the outside looking in, it looked like they would make the perfect couple. When they got together, it seemed like they were meant to be in all the right places. Like, she was the yin to his yang. Only both of them deep within had a dark-seated past. Not just that, but they were evil. You would have never guessed it. Evil don't have a certain type of look. People don't understand that, or some people don't. You know, the devil don't come to you with horns and red skin. He comes to you in everything you desire. So today we're going to be talking about the Barbie and Ken killers, also known as the schoolgirl rapist. I think this one really bothers me just because of how messed up it is. I have sisters, and I have to put a warning in there. If you can't listen to stuff about rape, drugging girls, just evil stuff like that, murder, then you might not want to watch this video. You might want to watch one of my other ones. I don't think I have too many that's not about murder because this is a series. But anyways, let's get into it. Hey y'all, welcome back. My name's Stephanie Bowles, and this is the Full-Time Crime series that I'm doing. You're probably new because I don't have too many subscribers. Thanks for taking a chance watching my video. If you could subscribe, that would be awesome. If you like the video, of course. And hit the like just to get this video out. This series, really, I'm in the future. I think my next one's going to be about a missing person, because that's what I want out there, is like something that's not solved yet. I want to get it out there. I want to try to make a difference, you know, try to help someone be found. That would be great. You know, because some cases just get forgotten about. And if you know anybody personally, or just, you know, heard about anybody, put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to check it over and make a video on it. Today's case is not that. It is a case that it really bothered me. You know, some of these cases, I have nightmares. Doing this type of stuff, looking into it, sometimes really bothers certain people, and I'm trying to do it still for the, you know, to help someone, hopefully. There's a lot of kids here lately that's become missing, or that one little girl, beautiful little girl, I can't think of her name right now. She's been missing for 2 years, but they just found that out. I may do a thing on that. But anyways, okay, let's get to the case. I'm talking about the Ken and Barbie killers, and they also called him the schoolgirl rapist because he preferred virgins. Paul Bernardo, he preferred virgins, and she wasn't as messed up as him when they got together, but she did have a couple weird things as a child. I know that one time she was with one of her friends, and they said that she, for no reason, threw their hamster out the window and killed it. And then they buried it in the backyard, and a couple days later, she just kept bugging and bugging for days about digging this thing up and, like, seeing how far it's decomposed and just all that stuff. And her friend was like, no, but then finally gave in and they did it. And then they also said that even though she looked like Barbie, or, you know, so they say blonde hair, blue eyes, she was into the Wicca and the witch, the dark stuff like that. Yeah, so she wasn't quite there. I mean, I feel like if you look at her eyes, she has nothing in her eyes. Her eyes just look so empty and evil. But anyways, with him, okay, he was the youngest of three brothers, and his mother actually said as a young boy, he was the easiest. But I heard that his mother could be quite, you know, aggressive towards the way she spoke to her kids. And the guy that he thought was his father really he was, but he wasn't his biological father. When he was conceived, it was actually out of a affair she had with the guy that she wanted to be with, but her father would never let her. So she ended up marrying this guy that her father accepted because of, I guess, money, you know, stuff like that. But anyways, yes. When he was 16 years old, I think she was going through a thing where she was screaming at him and stuff, and she just blurted it out, "That's why he's not your father." Well, this kind of set him into a rage, and he, from then on, never trusted his parents again. I mean, they both lied to him. He felt, you know, never told him. He didn't even trust his father, even though his father really didn't do anything. He just didn't tell him. But also around that age, 16, Paul started peeping into windows of his neighbors, watching girls undressed and things of that nature. None of the parents on the block wanted their kids hanging with him, because I think he may have gotten caught doing that a couple times. And yeah, so okay, that's how their childhoods started. Also, Carla was also she was the middle sister, I believe. She had an older sister and then a younger sister, Tammy Homoka. So in September of 1983, Paul was taking accounting classes at the University of Toronto. She was from St. Catherine, and he was from Ontario, Canada, which is about an hour and a half drive away from each other. And the way they met was just like a by chance meeting. Okay, she was 17, still in school, and she was working at a vet, and go figure, you know, she killed a hamster, and here she is. They said she loved her dog, though. She loved animals, is what I heard, but it's weird. The hamster thing's just weird. But she was working in a vet place, and I'm not sure of the name, but anyway, she was out of town. She was in his neck of the woods. She was doing at a pet food convention for her job, and it was pretty late at night. Her and her friend wanted to get something to eat at the hotel restaurant, so they went downstairs, and Paul walks in, and from, you know, what was told, they instantly seen each other, and he walked straight up to her and started talking to her and sat down, and eventually the friend kind of felt like the third wheel, so she was like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. Well, they talked all night until the restaurant closed, and then after that, Carla took him up to her room, and, you know, they did sexual things. But Carla had been with one person prior to him, so she wasn't a virgin, and she was 17 and in school, so he, of course, was attracted to her. She was beautiful, but he really liked virgins. By the time he got with her, he had already started raping women. October 1987, that was when they met. So they had been dating from then on. Um, Spring of 1988, he had already had 7 attacks. He started by like grabbing women and just fondling them, and then it quickly turned into raping them. He would grab them off when they would late at night getting off the bus. He would be so brazen. He would, he would grab them and rape them in the back of their house. He would grab them from behind so that they couldn't see him. All they can tell the police was he was tall and good looking, which kind of threw me off. I'm like, if they couldn't see him, how would they know he was good looking? But anyways, he made them all say degrading things about themselves, which I'm sure y'all can use your imagination. And like I said, in May of 1988, he had 7 attacks, so the police already started taking DNA samples from just different men. They had around 100 at the time, but they hadn't got to him yet. In the fall of 1988, they called in a FBI profiler to kind of get like what they thought was a profile on the man, by what the victim has said and all that stuff. And he upped the attacks from 7 to 11, so, you know, he was moving pretty fast. By spring of 1989, Carla had already started telling her friends he was abusing her. I think he was mentally abusing her mostly at the time. And by that December, he, I guess, tried to be all sweet and take her to Niagara Falls, and he proposed, and of course she said yes. They set the date for 1991, and her parents really liked him. I mean, in their eyes, he was, you know, in college for accounting, and they didn't know, you know, the other stuff. No, she didn't even know at the time that he was the Scarborough rapist. They didn't know about him abusing her. They thought that they would make a perfect couple, so of course they were happy for him. May 29th, 1990, the police ended up releasing the composite sketch of the Scarborough rapist. And when I say that it looked just like him, it looked just like him. I'll put a picture up right now, just so you could see. By November of 1990, didn't take long, his own friends was calling in. He had quite a few people call in saying, look, this looks just like Paul Bernardo. So the cops actually called him in at that time and interviewed him. And he, you know, he seemed laid back, and he gave them a DNA sample. And of course they had 100 more. So it just sat on the shelf with that. You know, they didn't take it too seriously. They seen him as a young, handsome man just starting out in life, was in accounting classes, just didn't take it serious at the time, which is where they messed up, because they could have stopped what I'm about to tell y'all in the future. You know, they could have stopped all that. 3 girls' lives could have been saved. They would have just did their... I'm not going to say that because I know that back then the DNA wasn't quite as advanced, but they could have, when they got, I mean, look at the picture. They could have put his DNA towards the front of the line since he was actually getting calls, but they didn't, and that's where they messed up. I think that kind of scared him. He moved Ontario. He moved from Ontario to St. Catherine with her in her family's home until they could find their own house, which was a bad move, because this would start a brand new fantasy of his towards Carla's younger sister that looked a lot like her, that was a virgin. She was also in school, you know, schoolgirl. And of course, the attack stopped in Ontario, and guess where they started? In St. Catherine. So, I mean, I don't know why the parents still didn't think it was him, and Carla didn't think it was him. He would joke with Carla, but I think he was testing the waters to see what she would say, because he pretty much knew she would do what he wanted when she wanted. He actually got brave enough to tell her, look, you aren't a virgin when we got together, and if you want the closest thing to you, if you want to give it to me, that would be your little sister, Tammy, her virginity. So Carla actually said yes, that she would help drug her little sister so that he could take her virginity for Christmas. That was her Christmas present to him. So, and she also worked at that pet place, so getting the drugs was not hard. All she had to do is pick up the phone, call across the street, get whatever drug she wanted, which was animal tranquilizer and a drug called halothane, which is what they would put like over a dog's or an animal's face to keep them out when they would do surgery. So, and she did that with them, so she knew how much to use and all that. Well, anyways, December 23rd, 1990 came. That night would forever change her parents' lives. It would change her life, but I don't think she really cared. Most of all, it would stop her little sisters. I'm not going to go into too many details. I just don't feel like it's necessary. If you want to know exactly what they did to her, y'all can look it up. You can find it. I just don't think those type of details are necessary. I'm sure you can get most of what I'm trying to say when I say it. How it started out was they were drinking and they were fixing her a couple drinks, and the parents really didn't care because she was at home. So they were fixing her a couple drinks, and they was putting these animal tranquilizers in them, and her parents have already went to bed. Well, she started getting sleepy. She ended up passing out, drunk, and with them tranquilizers. After that, Carla put some halothane on a rag, and she holds it over her face, and she pulls her sister's shirt up, and Paul proceeds to videotape this, of course. He loved to videotape everything, so he had everything on tape, everything that he's ever done. Not some of the rapes, but the worst of what they've done. This was the start of it, but anyways, he rapes her little sister and takes her virginity while she's sleeping and out cold, and does other stuff while Carla is holding this rag and I guess the video camera. And if that wasn't enough, after he got done, he takes the camera and he makes Carla rape her own sister, and she does it. I don't want to say details. That's enough. I'm sure y'all can get the picture. Well, anyways, right after Carla started, her little sister started throwing up. So they quickly yanked her pants up and pulled her on the floor, tried to give her CPR, called the ambulance, and their parents actually woke up to the ambulance. And in the early morning hours of New Year's Eve at the hospital, she passed away. It was just too much on her. And the hospital seen a burn for right here on her. And they chalked that up to Carla and Paul saying that was from them yanking her on the carpet burn, from them trying to give her CPR, that she just drank too much. And one thing I didn't mention is when the ambulance was coming, Paul was sitting on the couch hitting himself, screaming and crying, hitting himself, that upset. What do you think Carla was doing? She was running around getting rid of evidence, while her little sister is, in that shape. She just did not have a soul. I'm telling you, you could see it from her eyes. I've never seen eyes like hers. They were pretty, but dead at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, So yeah, her little sister, may she rest in peace, Tammy Homolka, passed away the early hours of December 24th, 1990. After that happened, they both moved into a 2-story bungalow style house in Port Dalhousie. I guess they wanted to separate themselves. That kind of scared them, you know. No one. I think the parents kind of thought something was up, but they didn't never want to believe. I mean, could you imagine? Paul kidnapped a girl from Burlington named Leslie Mahaffey, and he surprised Carla with her. He woke Carla up and was like, "Look what I have." And Carla didn't care at all. Like, I will say that before Paul got with Carla, he never killed nobody. He raped them. He did horrible things. But he never killed them. He would let them go. Well, Leslie Mahaffey, they kept her, I think, for like 2 days. But always at the end, she was the one like, I'm not comfortable with going to work and her possibly, you know, getting loose. So at the end, they both blamed each other, but this is what I personally think happened. And I think she, like, talked him into, instead of getting, and what's messed up is she had something over her eyes. She never seen them, so they could have let her go. She talked, he took an extension cord, wrapped it around her neck and strangled her and killed her. Sadly, they dismembered her and put her in 7 different pieces of concrete, like an arm, torso, you get it. And they dumped her in this lake in a nearby town from where Carla was from. They didn't dump her in too deep. They just went a couple feet and threw it through the concrete in. Well, some fishermen on June 29th, 1991, some fishermen was fishing, and one of the guys grabbed one of the blocks and kind of seen some flesh coming through it, and he thought at first it might have been a fish, but he was like, I've never seen nothing that looked like this. But then he tripped over another one, and I'm assuming that he told the other person to come over, and they ended up calling the cops. And on that same day, just a couple miles away, Ken and Barbie was busy getting married. So that's what's so messed up, is they got married the day Leslie Mahaffey was found. The Niagara Regional Police came and they found 8 blocks. It was 8 blocks, not 7. While they were getting married 16 miles away in Lake Gibson, having the best time of their life, probably not one care in the world, while this poor girl, her body's found and her parents and family is going through, I couldn't imagine. On April 16th, 1992, this is where they kind of messed up. They wanted to get another girl. And she said, well, I'll go with you. You know, a girl is bound to help another girl before they would help a man. So what they were going to do was, she was going to be in the driver's seat, in the passenger seat, acting like she was lost, having a map in her hand. And they were driving through this church parking lot. They come across Kristen French, and she was like, can you help me find, so-and-so? So Kristen seen her. She looked like an okay person. So she came over to help her, and Paul came up behind her and shoved her in the car, while Carla held her head down so no one could see her. But what they didn't understand is there were some people across the street that seen this happen. And they talked to the police and said that they seen that it was 2 people. And I'm not sure if they said a girl, but I know they said 2 people. And they gave the description of the car, and they told them that it was a beige Camaro, when in reality it was a gold Nissan. So I mean, I guess if you weren't really paying attention and you wouldn't know to have to remember that, I don't know how you can get, but anyways, that's the car they put out, was the beige Camaro. So that's what everyone's looking for, is the beige Camaro. Well, with Kristen, they took her back and she wasn't blindfolded. What's messed up is Carla painted her nails and just did, you know, girl stuff they did to each other's makeup. So this whole time, poor Kristen thinks she's going home. And they kept her for a couple days. Paul's dream was to have a bunch of virgins, slaves, I think is what it was. His virgin slaves, and for his wife to help keep them, you know, grounded in there. Well, anyways, Paul probably would have let her go, but again, it was around Easter, and they had to go to Easter dinner, and she didn't want to leave her tied up there. She was scared she was going to get out. So what do you think happened? Same thing. He wrapped a cord around her neck, strangled her. But the way they got rid of her was different than the way they got rid of Leslie. I think they just dumped her body in a ditch. April 30th, 1992, Kirsten French was found in a ditch in Burlington, less than a half a mile from where Leslie was buried. She had been beaten and strangled. The police finally put together a profile, and the profile said, and I might have to read it off of this, it was a white male, late 20s, violent with women, even who he's in a relationship with. There was 2 girls that they had. The first girl was a girl that Carla had worked with. Carla had talked her into coming over, and they ended up drugging her the same way as her little sister, but this time it didn't kill her, and she just woke up and couldn't remember nothing, and Paul had took her virginity. And then, you know, I think she ended up knowing, her parents stopped letting her come over because she was like, why would these 2 people want anything to do with this young girl? You know, so the parents stopped letting her come over. And every time, Paul felt like he lost another girl. Like, he was obsessed with Tammy. They had this big picture of Tammy on their TV, Carla's sister. So he was mad when she passed away. He got mad when this other girl got told she couldn't come over no more. So they got another girl who was her sister, her little sister that passed, friend, and they did the same thing to her, drugged her and raped her. Well, she ended up telling her, like, she came over with a boy one night, and Paul was like, tell me you love me. And she looked at Paul and was like, I don't love you. You're older than me. That's weird. And Carla was like, you don't know what you're missing out on. He can give you everything you wanted, right in front of this guy she was with. And she was like, this is kind of messed up. I'm leaving. And and she never came back. Well, Paul had enough. This was like 3 years in a row that he felt like Carla ran some girl off, even though it was him. Both of them. And he beat her pretty bad to where she had a black eye, but she wore glasses. You could still see it. And she went to work. Well, some people from her work called her parents and was like, you need to come see this. You know, she's in bad shape. So her parents came. They seen it and they was like, you're going to get your stuff. You're leaving here. You can go there, get your stuff, and I'll be there. We'll be there tonight to pick you up. And she said okay. But when the time came, they called and called. Paul answered the phone and then gave it to Carla, and Carla was like, I'm fine, I'm fine. Well, the next day, the parents ended up leaving. There was nothing they can do. Well, one of their illegal things they would do would be driving across the border into the U.S. and smuggling cigarettes. Well, on one of their trips, which was the very next day to that, he beat her the whole way there, the whole way back. And I'll put up a picture to show you just how bad she was beat. She was took to the hospital by her parents. I think at this time she called her parents. And she told her parents everything. She told her parents about her little sister and everything. They pretty much thought Paul, like she was a battered wife and that it was all Paul, and you know, that's how she made it sound. So they were like, we need to get you a lawyer, and that's how them getting caught up got started. Once she talked to the cops and told them everything, they immediately processed his DNA, and it was a ringer for all the rapes and, you know, the murders. Even Tammy, you know, I think they exhumed her. February 17th, 1993, they arrested Paul. June 28th, 1993 was Carla's hearing, and they gave her what? They wouldn't let the cameras in her court. They said for some reason they couldn't find the tapes of the videotapes where they videotaped all that. So all they had really was Carla's word, and they did have DNA on the rapes. But they wanted her to talk because that would, you know, that would be pretty much a slam dunk case. So they gave her what they called a sweetheart deal, where if she got on the stand and went against him, that she would get, she couldn't lie, or they would take it all away, which I don't get this, because they ended up finding out she did lie, because in the future, during his trial, they found the tapes. So they seen that she was not just this little innocent, oh my God, I'm going to do what you say, or you're going to beat me. She was the one, like, in some time, they even found tapes of her dressed as her little sister, acting like her little sister, having sex with Paul. That's how messed up this girl was. Anyways, she got 2 manslaughter charges. And I might have to read it off of here. She received 2 12-year sentences to run concurrent, which means she only had to do 12 years. She did it in Kingston Prison, and in August 1993, she divorced Paul. In 2005, she was released after serving a reduced 12-year sentence. Once she got out, she tried to change her name multiple times, but she was a type of person you just recognized her face. Unless she moved, like, into the United States or somewhere, you know, in a little small town, she would be noticed, especially staying there in Canada. She moved into a small little town in Quebec. She ended up getting a husband and a couple kids. She was like working at this school, and people found out it was her and flipped out. They ended up stopping her from going to the school because they didn't know nothing about that. The latest I've heard on her now is she lives a lonely life. Her husband left her. She don't even live with her kids. He took the kids. So she, you know, she lives a lonely life, and I hope it stays that way. I hope every single day of her life, I hope she matured to where she will never get a peaceful night's sleep. But then again, people like her, you know, they don't have emotion, they don't care. May 18th, 1995 in Toronto. That's when Paul's court stuff starts. He pled not guilty in his trial, and June 19th, 1995, that's when Carla testified. She testified just like I said, acting like she was just this sweet, ditzy girl, and they found the tapes. I don't understand why they couldn't take all that off and give her more time, because they found the tapes, and I told you what was on them tapes. September 1st, 1995, guilty, all 9 counts for Paul. He got 2 murder charges on top of all that other rape charges. He got 25 years, which was life, considered life with parole. With parole. He had to do time in Kingston Penitentiary. 8 men and 4 women was the jury. I don't know if that matters to y'all, but I thought I'd let y'all know. After he, you know, got found guilty and started doing his time, he admitted to even more assaults. And the judge said that since he, you know, he just didn't care and he was going around bragging about the assaults and stuff, he don't think he'll ever get out. Even with the parole, you know, he's going to face the parole board. All that's going to come up. He'll probably do life. But my thing is Carla. Like, she got to get out and live a life. She had a chance at a life. She messed that up. She ain't with her kids or nothing, but still she had another chance. You know, the people in the ground, her sister, didn't have that chance. I know Canada is about, you know, getting people, I can't think of the word, but like getting them help and changing them and stuff. But some people you just can't change, and these people were a couple of those people. But anyways, that about sums up the story of it. That now you can find other channels, like some of my favorites is Stephanie Harlow. She gets into details, like she does 3 parts into like stories like this that are big, because she'll tell you the weather on the day type of stuff. I do that on some stories, but on big stories like this, I mainly tell like what I find important and what I feel like needs to be said. Anyways, I know it sounds messed up. This is a murder series. I hope you enjoyed it. That's not what I mean, but you know what I mean. I hope I did an okay job at getting the info for you guys. And Stephanie Harlow and, of course, Bailey Sarian, everyone knows her. Those are my 2 most watched. Besides Mr. Ballin, I like him. And then there's a channel called That Chapter. I really like him. He does all murder type of stuff, and he's pretty good at the detailing and storytelling. I'm not that good at storytelling. That's why I'm like, I hope y'all found this, you know, okay, and wasn't annoyed by how I delivered it to y'all. Hopefully this will be up tonight. I can edit it and then get to the next story. But I need ideas, so whoever watches this, give me some ideas on who y'all would like me to do next. Like I said, if y'all have any missing persons that y'all know of, give me some details down below in the comments. If y'all think I've gotten something wrong, please don't come for me. Just correct me in the comments. I'm always, you know, down for new information. And thank you so much for watching my video. it means more than you know. I'll probably be making some makeup videos because my kids want to watch my videos and I tell them no. And I promised them I would make some type of video for them to be able to watch, so I might make some kind of silly little video like that. I'm not no makeup guru, for no means. I just have like a big old stash of it and I throw it on my face pretty much. But anyways, that about covers it, and I will see y'all again whenever I guess I get my next case up. I'll start looking tomorrow, and that's about it. Like I said, give me some ideas. If not, I'll try to look into some missing person cases that haven't been too far out, you know, to where I feel like there's still a chance to find someone. If y'all know anybody, please tell me for real. Alright. Thank y'all. Bye.